Now, Lucy and Bradley, they're back in the UK. 4 weeks later, Jay Slater's body still hasn't been found, missing without a trace. However, there's some new information that has come to light. We need to go through that to connect these dots, and we're going to continue to connect these dots until we get to the bottom of this. Let's check this out.
As the search for missing British teenager Jay Slater enters its 4th week, Spanish police, until now silent on their investigation, have released a dramatic new update.
They have not given up on hope of finding missing teen Jay Slater. A source close to the case insisted investigators were not working on the basis Jay was missing feared dead, and they insisted they are still pursuing several lines of inquiry. Asked whether the investigation moved on and police now had cleared idea of what had happened to Jay, a spokesman from the Civil Guard said the investigation is ongoing and several lines of inquiry are being pursued.
So the investigation is still ongoing.
Now, remember yesterday IOB said the police had confirmed with the CCTV that they saw Jay leave and confirmed IOB went back to bed.
Yes.
Well, Down the Rapids did a lot.
Now, we just dropped a video on the channel. Make sure you go and check it out after this one.
Live yesterday and managed to get a pretty good close-ups of the front of the Airbnb. And as you can see, there are no cameras on that door whatsoever. Only a key box and a light. So where on earth are the...
And we made that determination yesterday, but we see two different visuals. One looked like it was a camera, and the person that must have published that put some comment on it saying, look, it is a camera. And it looked like a camera from the angle that we saw it. But then the next video we looked at after, it was this light, the same light that we see here right now. So if there was a camera there, it's no longer there, and they've replaced that camera with a light. However, AOB has confirmed that there was a camera there. So was there a camera or wasn't there a camera?
The other cameras that confirm this, to me it sounds like some sort of inside job. How can the police confirm you're going back to bed when there's no cameras inside the property nor outside the property?
Exactly. And I also want to mention, if we look at this area, it's such a secluded area. It's an area where you probably could walk into someone's house and you could probably go on a mad murder spree for a good couple of hours before the feds would even know about it.
Also, what came out yesterday, which is very worrying, is that the CCTV footage of what appears to look like is of the beach. Well, as you can see, the 17th, the day of Jay's disappearance, has magically disappeared as well.
Whoa. Now remember, there's a video actually going around of an alleged argument on the beach between Lucy and Jay. Nobody didn't know because it was all blurred out. We wasn't too sure. However, is this a coincidence that on that day, that footage is missing?
Surely all these coincidences can't just keep coming out of nowhere before one of us says, right, this is getting out of hand. Again, it may be nothing, but every other day is there, intact, perfect. And wait, the day Jay goes missing, the CCTV footage magically goes too.
Exactly.
Now, let's be real, and this is my honest opinion. Do I think Brad, Lucy, IOB killed Jay? I think no. In my opinion, they don't have the experience to pull something like this off.
This was premeditated and pre-planned even before getting to Tenerife, which means that whatever happened here stems from before Tenerife, because it's too clean. It's way too clean, unless Jay wasn't even at the Airbnb. Maybe the situation took place on the first day of him getting there. Remember, they were there for 3 days before Jay allegedly went missing. It could have happened on the first day, which would have given them enough time to put together a plan, to put together a story. It's only a short space of time, hence why Bradley took 11 days perhaps to actually come out and finally talk to the press. And Lucy was a bit all over the place when she was delivering what she was saying. It seemed like she was just trying to regurgitate certain key points that she had discussed with maybe Bradley, AOB, or whoever it was. But what was so key is that they always focused on 8 o'clock in the morning, and they all focused on that 1% battery. That was so key to all of their stories.
Now, why I say this is like I said yesterday, yes, Lucy may sound shifty and her stories don't add up, but someone of such a young age to pull something off like this, for starters, after the disappearance of Jay in Masca, there has been absolutely nothing, not even a single breadcrumb. To me, like I said, it has to be someone with experience doing this, someone like a professional, or even someone inside covering up traces.
And that's why I say it was pre-planned. That's why I say they would have had to had days to plan this. Days. This isn't something that you do spontaneously overnight and get away with it like this. Literally vanish without a trace. And let's say Jay did actually fall down a ditch. Actually said that. They confirmed that themselves, that that's what they believe had happened. And that's what Jay told them had happened. How have they not found his body yet? 4 weeks. It makes no sense. And in my opinion, looking at all the information that there is to look at, I don't believe this actually happened on the day that they said it happened.
Lucy and Brad are young. For me, you'd have to have years of experience to cover something like this up. And if they did do it, they would have made a mistake somewhere down the line, sure.
Yeah, they did make a mistake with their stories. They ain't in a position to really be a part of the master plan to get this done and dusted. It's not them that have literally cleaned this up, but there was a part of getting it to that point. What would we call it? A setup.
But there has been nothing. For me, the photo of Jay in the blanket with a cigarette in his hand, surely that would have been possible to find cigarette butt. And
now, one thing I do want to mention is, remember the picture of Ayub on those white block stones outside Airbnb? He was with 2 other white boys, which means that this person right here could be one of those white boys pretending to be Jay Slater, because this was pre-planned. The focus isn't the feet or anything here. There's 2 focuses. What they really want you to look at here is the hand and the steps. And whoever took this picture and posted it would have had access to Jay's phone. It makes me think, it honestly makes me think that this didn't happen at the Airbnb, that this was all a plan.
surely if you'd have found that, you'd have been able to run some finger test prints, or even inside the Airbnb. There would have been something, surely. For over 3 weeks, with the amount of media coverage, if Lucy, Brad or Ayub had have personally done this, they would have surely have cracked. Look how much hate they are receiving online daily. I said I don't believe they did it personally, however I do believe they know a little more information, and maybe they're scared to come forward. That I do believe certainly. Like the blanket from Lucy's hotel, shown in photos on booking.com. To me, looks exactly like the blanket Jay was wrapped in when he had this cigarette in his hand. Unless this isn't even Jay and it's just one huge distraction.
So how did the blanket get to the Airbnb? And that is definitely the same blanket. Facts. There's no difference there. That's the same blanket.
To take us all away from the actual story. Now something came out which is pretty important, exclusive. Jay Slater's best friends fly back to the UK as desperate search for missing teenager continues in Tenerife. Missing Jay Slater's best friend have returned to the UK 3 weeks after the apprentice bricklayer's mystery disappearance, Mail on Live can reveal. Lucy Law and Brad Hargraves flew out to the Spanish holiday island with Jay for an 8-day holiday last month, taking in the 72-hour new Rave Generation Festival. The three friends, all 19 and other teenager Brandon Hodgson, were all last together at Papagayo nightclub in the Rorschach resort of Playa.
So there was another person with them called Brandon Hodgson. Who's Brandon? Who's Brandon? So there was a fourth person with them then.
The Las Americas on June the 17th. Brad had stayed on in Tenerife with his mum, Rachel, although he was not seen taking part in any searches and was spotted at Tenerife South Airport late on Sunday night.
Now, why would your best friends not be involved in any searches? Hasn't searched for him because he knows what he's done to his best friend. I mean, why would I go and be delusional enough to go out there searching when I know what I've just done? And that's the reason why I could see it in Bradley's face over the, it took him 11 days to actually come out and speak to the press. 11 days. That 11 days must have been extremely difficult for him, coming to terms of what he had to do. And look, if he had his way, he probably wouldn't have done it. If Lucy had her way, she probably wouldn't have done it. But the pressure and the power that be, they had no choice.
Brad is believed to have returned to his home at Lancashire with Jay's uncle Glenn Duncan, 41, who was on Saturday, was seen searching a valley where the missing raver's mobile last pinged. It's understood Lucy headed home sometime earlier after doing all she could to help in the now 4-week search. Among those searching for Jay were his mother Debbie, father Warren and brother Zach and Rachel. They were joined by a group of expats and local hikers who combed through the valley all day after police called off the search on June the 30th.
Doesn't make any sense how so many people were looking in this area, looked everywhere, and they did not find him, not even a drop of blood.
Asked how long the family would stay, Glenn said he had to get back as his children were at school, and added of Warren and Debbie, "I don't know how long we're going to be out here for. How long's a piece of string?" Debbie and Warren won't be going anywhere. Brad was seen in the queue to board a Manchester-bound flight from Tenerife and had earlier been seen browsing the cigarette section of the duty-free shop. Brad, who had also been on a holiday with Jay, spoke about the last time he heard from his pal on the phone. Brad gave an interview to This Morning on June 28th saying that while he was on the phone to Jay, he could hear his feet sliding down the hill. He said, "Yeah, that's how I knew he went off-road. You could hear like when you walk on gravel, stones." Brad admitted, however, he was...
You know what I'm not getting my head around? Why was it at that moment when you spoke to him, he started to walk off-road? Why you? Why you, Brad? Why you, Brad? Like, why when you spoke to him, he was walking down this road the whole time, and all of a sudden you spoke to him and he started to walk off the road? Why was that?
Wasn't worried at that point, and Jay reassured him he was fine, but he did tell his friend to put his location on. Brad added, "We're both like laughing about it," and
told him to put his location on. And when you phoned him, he started going down off the road. He just moved off the road when you phoned him, right? Bradley.
he said, "Look where I am." He said Jay then cut off and has another call waiting, but promised to phone back. Now, we don't 100% know, but as in this article says, Brad wasn't actually seen searching, which is
Why, Brad? Why wasn't you seen searching, my friends? This is your best friend. You wasn't seen searching for him when he just went off the road when you phoned him. You know, so based on your story, Brad, Jay's just missing. He must have fell in a ditch somewhere. I don't know. He went off the road. I don't know what happened. And he just, okay, Brad. So if that was the case, why did you not thoroughly go looking for him, my friend? Why did it take you 11 days to actually come out and speak to the press? It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Alarm bells to me, considering if Brad is Jay's good friend and they've been friends for a very long time, as he was angry on his Instagram and put out they've been friends since they were a kid. Surely if you're basically a best friend, you would also do what you can to search for your friend.
Facts.
Not just sit back and do nothing. To me, this seems rather strange. Also, Jay's dad has actually spoke out, and he says calls for help for Interpol, as it would take the army 10 years to cover Tenerife. Investigation into Jay Slater's disappearance in Tenerife continues. Jay Slater's father has voiced his frustration at the lack of officials assisting the search for his son, as he calls for Interpol to take over.
To be quite fair, you know what? I feel so sorry for the dad. You know why I feel so sorry for the dad? Because I believe everybody in the circle actually knows what's going on other than the dads. And the reason for that is because, you know, when you're a dad, you know, you don't want to know about your 19-year-old son running around the streets of Lancashire doing whatever he's doing. The mum knows everything. The mums always know everything. And the mums will share that information with her friends or the people that are close in her circle that she knows will keep it to themselves. But ultimately, the mums know everything. The dads might have an inkling, but they don't have the confirmation. So now this has happened, and the mum clearly knows what's happened. And she kind of spoke to us in her interview, kind of indicating that she told Jay about this, what's going to be the case if he more or less effed around.
Warren has called for the British authorities and the international police authorities to get involved after the Spanish police search for the apprentice bricklayer ended on June the 30th. He told Mail, "We need to, as the full family, do a proper press conference and ask British authorities to help. He's a British citizen. Get Interpol involved. It's just us. I haven't got a team. We need a team to come over here and find out for us what the police are doing and what we need to do. Our hands are tied over here. We need experts. How long can you stay here for? It'll take an army 10 years to cover all this. I'll deploy a team of Gurkhas." The search for his 19-year-old son has now entered into the 4th week. Warren and Jay's brother Zach are continuing
4 weeks just for a guy that's meant to have fallen into a ditch and cut himself by a cactus.
to search near to his last known location in a treacherous gorge with a small group of volunteers. Honestly, his dad seems like he's doing all he can to look for his son, and I feel for him. A mother also shared really how lucky Jay is to get the amount of news coverage he got, because she said a story on Jay Slater's missing page that said, "Mother of a man who vanished in Tenerife 5 years ago feels pain of Jay Slater's family. Ricardo Scott Santana vanished during a jet ski safari in June 2019. The mother of a young Briton who vanished off the coast of Tenerife 5 years ago has said she feels the tears of Jay Slater's mother on television, who is crying just like me. Ricardo..."
She wasn't crying. she wasn't crying. I don't know. I did not see no tears when I watched the interviews. Anyway, maybe they saw a different interview. I don't know.
23 vanished on a jet ski safari with his friends at around 11:30 a.m. on June the 15th, 2019, a day before he was due to fly home. His family is still desperately looking for the loving youth worker who disappeared while riding off a jet ski near Palm Mar, just a few miles from Los Cristianos, where Jay was staying on the party island. His family said the jet ski was later found abandoned, but his body has never been found. His mother, Natasha, who is deaf, said she struggled to get any updates on her son's whereabouts without a BSL interpreter. She told The Independent he was with a group of friends for a nice holiday. It's thought he may have jumped into the sea off his jet ski to swim into the water. It doesn't make sense. He's a fighter and a strong swimmer. He vanished underwater. The undercurrent must have been so strong. The jet ski was found abandoned and the rescue mission was launched. Boats and helicopters went out to look for him for
To be quite fair, when you're on a jet ski and you go out like on the Mediterranean and you go really, really out there, you know, you look around, it starts getting scary, bruv. I can't lie to you. Like, I've done it a few times and I'm looking out and I'm thinking, oh, I'm really far out. I'm really, really far out. And you're looking at the water and you're just looking around and you're thinking, oh my God, sharks. Yeah, being on the water is not safe, bro. You just stay close to the beach, bro. Stay close to the beach.
3 days, but they closed the report just 2 days later, June the 17th. It's been such a long time. They never found a body. I feel so sorry for Jay Slater's family. I've seen her tears to lose a son. She is suffering and crying just like me. The grandmother of 4 said she last saw Ricardo for a family meal in April 2019, but she will always cherish the last happy messages he sent from her from the holiday. She added, it's been such hard work. My younger son had autism. He is angry and upset. He always loses temper, asking where his older brother has gone. He asks why he has never come back to see us. Ricardo was good and supportive with children, and he always worked to stop bullies. It's too late to describe my pain over these last 5 years. I try to stay strong and positive. I will never give up and never forget him, but I've had problems with my health. Every day I think about him from my heart. His friends sent out missing posters and set up charity in his name, RVS Foundation, to raise legal fees to get his body, if ever discovered, finally returned home. It just raised £1,700 over the past 5 years. A statement on the Just Giving page read, now all that is left for friends and family to do is pray that one day he is found.
That's crazy. So this kid was only able to generate £1,700 over 5 years through his GoFundMe, and you know, Jay Slater's got over 50k.
Deborah lives on the island and has helped searching for Jay and others through a Facebook group, Missing Persons Tenerife. She told The Independent, a result of publicising Ricardo's case 5 years later, we may enable his family to know more about what happened and get the documentation, at least police report, so they can have closure. Overall, there are 10 cases that have occurred remain open since the beginning of the year that we have identified a missing person, Tenerife. One of the reasons the case of 19-year-old Britain Jay Slater has caught the attention of so many is that he is a young man on holiday who should have been having the time of his life. In addition to recent cases, there are a number of historical cases that have never been resolved, particularly of young British men on holiday or working in the tourist areas of Tenerife, Britain being a large source of tourism. Once the golden hours of the first days of the search are over, the chances of somebody being found safe and well are reduced. However, even if not safe, are well important for their family and friends to get closure and to know what happened to their loved ones. Which honestly, it seems so sad. So many missing people with no answers. The real question is, how and who is behind this mystery?
Massive shout out to BS Media. Make sure you subscribe to their channel. Link can be found down below. I need you guys to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel if we are new, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.